What is up, all of you awesome and amazing people on YouTube? The old Coot here, coming at you with another exciting video. Today we're going to focus a more deeper dive into Amaro CioCiaro. I think that's how you pronounce that. If you saw the video just prior to this one, it's kind of like my middle version, like 7 to 8 minute version. But this one, I'm going to try to go a little deeper into this and compare it to some other Amati, plural, Amaro, singular, that are kind of out there. And believe me, there's a huge spectrum. This is one of those ones. Amaro CioCiaro is one of those ones that, oh, it's like the periodic table of elements where like you have that little breakout section that has the properties of like the orange and maybe like just a touch of the cola, but it's its own category. It's like a transcending or like a transitional Amati that kind of can go into multiple different categories. So here's what I got off the bat. I put it in my glass, which I usually do, and then I do like a 1-to-1 ratio of the Amaro with the San Pellegrino or Club Soda or whatever I have on hand, mineral water. By the way, not sponsored by any of these companies. I'm doing this on my own. I'm paying for the stuff on my own. But if any of these companies are watching this video and they want to think about sponsorship, partnership, whatever, I would love to work with any one of these. Okay, so let's get into this. So I put in one part of the Amaro CioCiaro, and then I put in one part of the mineral water. I gave it the sniff test. So on the nose, it's very orange forward. Like I said, if you watch the video before this, it might be a little bit shorter depending on, how long this video goes, but very orange blossom, orange peel, bitter orange, that Kinoto orange, that myrtle leaf orange forward. So you're getting a lot of that orange. I would say in a percentage of 100, I'm smelling mostly orange. And then now that I think it's had a chance to kind of like mingle and merge with the mineral water, I'm getting maybe like 20 or 30% of that like cola kind of flavor, unsweetened root beer, maybe not even root beer, more like unsweetened Pepsi. So it's not like a sassafras tasting cola. It's more of like a Pepsi cola without the sugar, if that makes any sense. So then on sipping it, if I go ahead and give this another sip real quick. Sorry, wrong pipe. What I'm getting is orange. It's like orange frontal. That is the main note. I'm getting very much, sorry, wrong pipe, but it went down my lungs instead of going down my into my stomach. But anyways, what I'm getting there is I'm getting a lot of orange blossom, orange peel, Kinoto orange, that kind of vibe. And then I would say 70%. So in a percentage of 100, it's 70% orange. Then what I'm getting is like there's 30% there that is so hard to separate because everything just came together homogenously. This might be a contender for like a best in class when it comes to like those transcending. Is it orange? Is it cola? Like kind of like Gran Classico is like, is it cola or is it Sprite? It's like kind of like one of those. It's definitely not Montenegro. So Montenegro would be probably the closest cousin to Amaro CioCiaro, but to go back to this specifically, in a percentage of 100, 70% orange forward, orange blossom, orange peel, orange tasting. That last 30% is kind of like you're getting like hints that maybe there's some cola there, like the unsweetened Pepsi cola. So it smells exactly like it tastes exactly like it smells. And then maybe there's like low percentages. We're talking like 1 or 2% of like, I want, something tells me I want to believe that there's some of those alpine herbal notes in here, kind of like the thyme, the rosemary, and the sage, and maybe a little bit of pine. But it is so subtle. It is so damn subtle. Like it's so hard to pick up. Like unlike the Lazzaroni, like that there's sweet spearmint inside of the Lazzaroni. But with the Amaro CioCiaro, it's like, where is it? What is it? Like, it's so hard to pick out. It's so complex, but yet it's so simple. It's amazing. It's brilliant. It's like one of those. So then what you're also getting here is, there's definitely some, so between bitter and sweet, this will help me kind of explain a little bit further. Between bitter and sweet, it's almost 50-50. Like it's like 51% bitter, maybe 51 sweet, 49 bitter, 51 bitter, 49 sweet. It's so hard to find that balance, and it might just be 50-50, where like the sweetness hits the palate first and then the bitterness comes afterwards, and it lingers a little bit longer, like at least 30 seconds to a minute. You're still kind of savoring that bitter taste, like in the back part of the sip or the taste or whatever. But let me go ahead and just give it one more sip again. Yeah, very, very, very orange forward. Okay, so if you haven't had any one of these and you're kind of wanting to know what they taste like, or if you've had some of these and you want to know how it compares to Amaro CioCiaro, let's get into that. By the way, as I mentioned, I think in the other video, I forgot if I mentioned in this one, but I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. But if any of them want to reach out to me, sponsorship, partnership, I'm all for it, because I like each one of these in their own different way. Okay, so here's what's going on here. Dom Benedictine. So comparing these two, this is definitely more orange and more bitter, right? So that's Dom Benedictine. I think this is French, right? If I don't make a mistake, the liqueur. This one happens to be, 40% alcohol by volume. Whereas the Amaro CioCiaro is 30% alcohol by volume. This one is a recipe from 1873, I believe. They're on the side of the bottle. There you go. But to compare these two, I would say this one is like Dom Benedictine, but with maybe that 30% of cola or 20% cola, unsweetened Pepsi Cola, that kind of a vibe to it. Okay, Montenegro. Let's see this little shootout right here. This little versus. The Montenegro is orange and spice. That's what you're getting. It's like two separate things that you can completely decipher between the two, but yet they come together in one beverage. By the way, very nice looking bottle, very cool looking, like the pirate age of the 1800s. You get the idea. So to compare Montenegro to Amaro CioCiaro, they're similar. They're like cousins. They're similar, but this one just has like those notes, like you're just starting to get into the cola realm of the spectrum, if that makes any sense. Okay, to compare Amaro CioCiaro with Gran Classico, this is a Tempit Fugit one. This one happens to be, 28% alcohol by volume. By the way, the Montenegro was 23% alcohol by volume. But to compare these two, this now you're getting into cola and spice, right? With like hints of notes, the Gran Classico bitter. So this one is orange forward, right? With like you're starting to touch into the cola. This one now is cola forward, where you're starting to touch into the orange, if that makes any sense. The orange and the spice. I mean, we're talking this one, the orange isn't like orange pronounced. This one is more of like the cola is the full frontal flavor, if you get the idea. Okay, Cynar 70. This one is, what is that? That's 35% alcohol by volume. So Cynar is very similar. The regular Cynar, the one I think it's like the red label or whatever the colors are these days that they color these things. To compare these two, these are like second or third cousins. So Cynar 70 is more like bitter cola, and the bitterness is a little stronger here with the Cynar. Also, the Gran Classico. The Gran Classico is definitely more bitter than the CioCiaro is. So just for an example. But to compare these two, the Amaro CioCiaro and the Cynar 70, I would say the only thing that they really share, like I said, second or third cousins, the only thing that they really share is that here you're getting the orange, you're getting the 70%, almost 80% orange push forward, with like maybe 20 to 30% of like you're starting to pick up some of that cola, that unsweetened Pepsi. Here you're getting like 90% unsweetened Pepsi. This is like as cola gets when it comes to the Amati, plural, Amaro singular. You get the idea. But this would be like 90% cola forward, unsweetened Pepsi. Not as root beerish. You're not getting sassafras in here. Actually, ironically, you might see, now that I think about it, and I keep tasting this, I keep wanting to go back to it. You're getting some of those, like, you're getting the bitter orange here, but you're getting like those caramelized cola notes that maybe could be sassafras. So it's like a split between Pepsi and root beer. Like it's kind of like mug root beer to me is like mug root beer, unsweetened mug root beer, and unsweetened Pepsi. You put both of those together, and that's what makes up that last 20% that's in here. Very complex, very complex. This is more like a sophisticated Amaro. Ooh la la. It's one of those elegant ones. Anyways, I hope that this more in-depth deep dive gives you more of a sense of what's going on with Amaro CioCiaro. Please do remember that I do dilute with a 1-to-1 ratio of the Amati with the San Pellegrino mineral water. So that does have an effect on the flavor. That's why every time it tastes a little bit different. But what I'm really trying to do there is just cut the alcohol out of the equation so that all I'm really tasting is the ingredients in there to pick out some of those notes. This one, I could just, boom, right off the bat, I could just tell you it's orange and bitter. This one, right off the bat, boom, I could just tell you it's orange and spice, and they're two different things that come together as one. This one I can tell you is cola forward with a little bit of spice. This one is just mostly cola. But this one, oh, you're an interesting lady to figure out, because it's a little, she's a little more complicated. You know, she's a little more like, what's going on in there? Like, let me get to know her. Let me take another sip and see what she's like. And every experience with the CioCiaro, the more I'm like intrigued, and I want to learn more, and I want to taste more, and I want to smell something that I didn't pick up the first time. I want to taste something that I didn't pick up the first time. So yeah, very, very much a contender for like the best in class, maybe, or maybe a contender for like the top 5. So we'll have to see how the rest of this Amati series plays out. And that's the reason why you want to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button down there below. Definitely hit the notification bell if you like what you're seeing, to be notified when more of these videos come out. Anyways, I'm the old coot. I'm going to enjoy a beautiful weekend afternoon, relax, maybe have some more of this with some more ice and San Pellegrino, and just enjoy this weekend. Anyways, hope you like what you're seeing. I'm the old coot, and I'll catch you on the next video. By the way, if you check out the links down below, there's some links to some pretty cool products there, bartender related, that kind of vibe, and some other stuff. So I'll check those out. Comment if you have any comments or questions, and I'll catch you all in the next exciting video.